Peace, peace, peace. What's up, my people? This is your guy, Barry Israel Anu. And what I'm doing is I'm going to bring a vid today. And, I got to follow up. I only bring, like I said, information, messages that I can share pieces to the puzzle when when the divine mother, divine feminine energy, master of the universe says so. I usually don't even bring information as far as 80% of what I know I don't even bring to you. It's really, like I said, it's not my place. I bring what's necessary and when it's necessary. I serve messages, but I had just dropped that vid about divine feminine baddies, so I got to kind of build on that. That was the instruction, and so that's what I'm gonna do. I listen. I'm not up here to be know-it-all, to know all, and none of that. I don't do that. I bring a message and keep it moving. Like I said on my other vid, when you grow in this, you grow to your phase. You grow to the path that you need to grow in, into how you connect to the universe, and it connects to you. It really counts for you, man. That's part of it. But what I wanted to do basically in this vid is to give you another piece of the puzzle about how things are clicking, another perspective of how what's really going on in divine feminine nature. Mother told me bring it to you like this. Because I had somebody ask me, why did you change your channel from Great Vibing to Spiritual Streets? And I marinated on that, and that was something that I definitely wanted to kind of, it was going to keep to myself, but after putting out that other vid, Divine Feminine Baddies, right, the universe was like, nah, listen, after that, marinate it, listen, put all that together, give them a few pieces to the puzzle. Because it's deep out here, and it made sense because you know why you were directed to switch it to Spiritual Streets, my channel. And so I'm gonna break it down to why I changed my channel from Great Vibe to Spiritual Streets, and the science behind it, the magic behind that, and the reason for it, and the guidance to do it. I'm gonna bring it to you and keep it real. But of course, I want to make sure that all energies that do not serve me are definitely clear before I bring this, because I definitely like to just bring what I bring on the real, y'all. So let me do that here, trying to enjoy my little fire before I get busy with dinner. I said let me sit down and do this vid and just bring something different, something real quick. I'm not gonna hold you, but I just wanted to give a reason why, maybe to start making sense to you how we've been trapped off, and what did they do. Because I gave you the first bit of part of it if you looked at the last vid, Divine Feminine Baddies, whether it was on my Instagram or on my YouTube channel, Spiritual Streets. I broke that down, so now you'll understand what they did to us. You'll understand just by my street channel name, by my YouTube channel name, Spiritual Streets, actually what was done to Haiti, and part of how all this links together. But it's gonna be short, it ain't gonna be nothing long. I know people's attention span, which is crazy. Attention span to stay long if you're going after they money god to get it, but it won't won't stay long to get that knowledge, to get up out that trap, and what they really done to our divine feminine natures, which is in all of us, man and woman. But I'm clear this, man, so let me bring this message to you. Right, let's do this, y'all. Let's do this. Right now, if you haven't had the opportunity and the chance to see, one thing, that you are starting to see is that divine feminine nature is applying pressure. She's applying pressure to these systems, man, to these people who are losing their mind. That's in turn trying to apply pressure to you to lose your mind and do things that you shouldn't do. Some of the things that I want to come with is the reason why I kind of changed my channel name in the beginning from Great Vibe and Spiritual Streets was this. It was this, my Great Vibers. First, I like to say peace to my Great Vibers. You know what that means? Strength, fertility for the kings and the queens. Listen, one of the reasons I changed from Great Vibe to Spiritual Street, I'm gonna get into it, is because of this. What this matrix, what this system is about that we're all in, it's basically a situation where they've taken their artificial magic that they had, the illusions that they had, and they capped it on top of our spiritual. So that's how they were able to keep us trapped in their illusions, to just be caught up in it, to go along with their narratives. They took their physical earth, their artificial things, be it food, be it illusions, be it the money, be it all the materialism, and they capped our spirituality. So they put their physical over our spiritual, thus dumbing us down. And that's how they trapped us and our ancestors. But the truth crushed into the earth will always rise. You have to understand it. And that's where we at right now. So by doing that, by taking our spiritual, because in Haiti, what it was when they fought that war of independence with Toussaint Louverture, and they overthrew the colonials, because they wasn't going for that colonialization and all that stuff. They wasn't having it over there. So they won that war by using the natural spirituality. That's how they beat them. They beat them spiritually, broke them down, had them losing their minds, everything. And so to this day, Haiti has always continued to pay for that. They never forgot that. The devil of this world, the devil that runs this world, the devil god of this world, never forgot that. And so they continuously punish them with their artificial magic, through earthquakes, through just keeping that country like it was. And then being that they didn't bow down to that master, eventually what was like they do every society, they just got leaders that eventually sold out anyway. So that's what you have. And that's why you have Haiti in that position, because they took their physical and their artificial magic and illusions and things and been crushing Haiti with it, because as a revenge thing, not about judgment, but as revenge. The Most High, divine phenomenon nature right now is coming back for judgment. This is judgment, what we going through. What they was doing and continuing to do to Haiti is revenge. Revenge for how they lost that war and tore them up. And that attributes to just the spiritual nature of us, the power in our spiritual. So then they had to demonize our magic by giving all these different names and this and that. Why? Yeah, they still use it behind closed doors. They've enlisted our people to use it against us, against themselves. Not against themselves, but just us. We got our people using it against our own. That's what they done. They reversed it and turned it around, and then they added their artificial stuff. And thus you have this mess. But with that now, what people don't understand, when you help these people out, when you continue to try to help them take their physical and cap our spiritual, that the ancestors is coming for you, not along the people you're trying to go after and use it against on individual levels. Not only are their ancestors going to come for you and protect you, whether they know the deal or not, they're going to be protected to a certain degree, but your ancestors, the people that's doing this, are now getting beat down by their own ancestors who want to get out of these generational curses. So when it came to me changing the spiritual street, I started coming into the understanding that our physical nature, this physical world of existence we have on this earth is capping our spirituality. Thus, when your vibration rises, you come into your spiritual. So now, even though you within the matrix, you outside the matrix looking in, and you can see everything they do. So they have no power over you no more. So effectively what happens is you become a glitch in their matrix. And they had to always make sure Haiti did not continue to be a glitch in their matrix, because of the power of the people there. Even though we have it everywhere, they were able to control the opposition now by paying a lot of these people off that call themselves taroids, that do some of that for negative purposes, because it's good purposes too, or that do it to try to create spells, create black magic against people. That is not right. And it won't work. It won't work definitely against chosen. It won't work against those that are protected. And like I said, we're in the times now where your ancestors, people's ancestors that are doing it to other people, their ancestors themselves are beating them up for it, because they want to get out of the generational curse. So they're not helping themselves. And that's what they don't understand about the spiritual game and what's really happening. So they took their physical world, this matrix we in, they threw the materialism, everything on it, and they capped our spirituality. So when I came with spiritual streets, that was a message too, to let them know, yo, I'm in these spiritual streets. I know what it is. You're not going to cap me with your physical things, your physical world, your physical matrix. Yes, I'm here and gotta live within it. But at the same time, you know who have the real power. The power is within you. And that's what they never wanted you to know. So they had to bring in all the religions to also keep you capped, because nobody should be having to pay anybody, pastors, anybody, to connect them with the universe and the Most High. You shouldn't have to pay tithes for something, man. It's all part of the game, and once you come to understand and you see that for what it is, you connect to the universe on your own, and the universe connects to you when you're ready. That's just how it happens. Sometimes you put in work and don't even know it. I came into this unknowingly, always knew something growing up, always knew something, but had an idea, but never fed it, never really fed that craving for it, but always understood now in my life that I was always protected, with certain things I really was. And the thing was, they never wanted you to know that you go within, man. Just like I did in my last video, I said Lot's wife went within. When she turned around to go within and understood that divine feminine God is within her, and came up out of a lot of that stuff. And no telling what realm she went in, but we got a lot of those divine feminine bodies running around here, man, that's awakening. And it comes to you when it comes to you. There's like no set formula. There's no set thing that you'll be putting in work and don't even know it. And the next thing you know, all of a sudden you get like supernatural things will happen as like your key to let you know. Then after you recognize that, it could be through a person, it could just be through things happening. And then the next thing you know, you actually get hit with a certain type of initiation type thing. And once you go through that with the universe, then you start understanding, man. You start understanding that it's about trying to be at your peace. It's about, okay, I'm connected. But now the part about that too, once you understand that, is that, a lot goes with that, because now within that the divine feminine mother, that goddess, that energy within you now watches you. It always watched you, but now you're aware of it. So you definitely move the way you're supposed to move, because that's why we never get away with nothing. The divine feminine is within you. So when you acting up and you think you're getting away with something, you really not. But when you also blessing and being a blessing, it's also being recognized, because it's within you, man. We are all electrical beings, and our heart runs by electrical impulses. That's why they hit you when people have heart attacks. They hit them with the boop boop, the electrical shock, because we're electrical beings. We're human computers. We're not like the robots and the AI they can create, because most of us, not all of us, come with souls. So we're very unique in that aspect. And then with the melanin, it just makes you supernatural, especially once you tap in and understand. And once you go through the steps, the phases to get to your growth and start recognizing that, you understand that. And that's what they're definitely afraid of. So that's why they have to censor things and do this. They have to, because they're afraid. They got to do that, because the more people that do it, the more glitches it throws in their matrix. But it's too late now. Their matrix is collapsing. So it's a wrap for that. It's just a wrap. It's going to happen. There's no stopping it. They understand that. And that's where you have them coming with different agendas to throw people off. But they know now that they're no longer able to keep their physical world capped on top of people's spiritual. On top of the spiritual, divine nature is not having it. Divine feminine energy is not having it no more. So, and this is what you're seeing, that collapse, because you got to understand what they always understood too from us, is that it's always opposites. If you got a master, you have to have a subordinate. That's just the way it is. And so that's why this joke about civil rights and movement and this, it was all a game. It was never real. That's why we never had none to this day. Because, a man that always kept you suppressed, always lied, never gave you the truth, opportunistic, just never had your best interest. The game is to always keep you capped and keep you subordinate. So you're never going to be in that equal, because what's the purpose? And then knowing your supernatural abilities, knowing your spirituality, they know that. They know they don't want to get close to you like that, because they know you're more powerful than them. So therefore you have the situation you have today. So now they had their time is up. But with their time being up, it's also this, man. They know it is what it is. Time is up. You got to go. Divine feminine energy is coming back, because her time is now. She has to recreate the human story based on truth, man. Based on truth, based on just generations moving forward, based on different other bloodlines. And that's where we at right now. And that's what people need to understand. When you go with these cats' agenda, you're just going with them. Because, like you say, divine feminine is not going to allow you to keep her subordinate anymore. It can't happen like that. So either you down with divine feminine energy or you go down with the other cats, no matter what your ethnicity is. It's not based on that. It's based on that heart, the spirit, and the energy within you. And some of them are going to get a pass because actually some of them do have melanin. Some of those other ethnicities do have it. Those are the ones that get passes when they, raise that vibration. And then some were put here to help with this time when it came. So it's this is definitely hasn't been an easy task, but it's going to happen. But it's all based on them taking that physical world and capping our spirituality. And that's how they got us. Then they threw in their religion, which was a psychological operation to keep us dumbed down to who he was by giving us their God. You got two gods in their world, in their hell. Actually, it's their money God that has their paper faces on it, that has their faces of their different gods. And what does it say on there on that money? In God we trust. What God do you think they're talking about? That God who you see on that money. When they give you that picture, that Jesus Christ picture, Jesus picture, however you want to pronounce it, in their church, when you see that image, who are they giving you? Their God. That's their God. That's their devil. That's what you got to understand. So all this time, you thinking you praising God, you praising their devil. You praising that God that done tore up this world, this money God that ruined this world because people do anything for it. It's destructive. Now you hear rich people crying, oh, money don't make me happy. Money, because they realize now it ain't what you thought it was. But of course you're supposed to be blessed by the universe when you're doing right and correctly. There's nothing wrong with that, having certain luxuries, but it's a difference in worshiping that stuff. It's a difference in expecting it and you living for that. It's a big difference than just having it because, it is what it is. It's a big difference, but that money God and they God, because you won't see no Chinese, Japanese, Russians, any other type of thing. You won't see them with that God in their church. You see some black people with that God because we done been that dumbed down. We've been the main target, and mainly our divine feminine energy, our women have been that main target. That's why you see most of them in those churches by themselves. They'd rather have that than have a man some of the time. I'm connected with my God instead of trying to be connected to a righteous man. They fell for it. They had to get the head, and divine feminine energy was the head in order to mess the tail up. Now we putting out C murders, kids C murder, Meg Thee Stallion, we putting out Cardi B's and all of these type of different kids, Lil Baby, Spot 'em, got 'em. We putting out kids, our divine feminine is birthing kids like that now instead of Marcus Garveys, Malcolms, and men like that stood up, that spoke out, that showed out, did what they had to do. Within the Black Panther, people that was about the communities. They ain't birthing that out no more, and that was part of the plan. And divine feminine realizes that, so the women now, our women at divine feminine, those melanated women, they have to get with the program, else they will be wiped out with them cats. This is where this is going, and that's where it's at already. So that's why they gotta come at you and fool you now with that thing. I don't know if any of y'all have ever heard about Jim Jones. Jim Jones from Guyana. Jim Jones from Guyana was this cat that acted like he was God, Jesus, and you had all ethnicities follow behind him, definitely blacks, follow him over to Guyana. And this cat, right, people started complaining, people that was missing their family members. And so all of a sudden the government went over there to check on things, and it was like, okay, so they was about to bust his bubble, basically, with a lot of the followers, and some people had defected. And before he, could let all of them go, and before they could find out the truth, you know what he did? He had a little meal, and he put in there the Jim Jones Kool-Aid. Everybody drank that Kool-Aid and died. Go look up the story. Jim Jones in Guyana, for those of you that wasn't born in those eras. I think it was late 70s, maybe early 80s, something like that. But during that time, I remember that when that was going on over there. Took them over there, built their little communities. And the same thing now. People, they're being exposed for what it is, what the system is. So before they want you to come into the truth, guess what? They'd rather give you some Jim Jones Kool-Aid before you understand what the truth is. Then it's too late. But that's part of the thing if you want to go in that direction, because what you got to realize is part of this too capping your spirituality. They knew this, it wouldn't be able to hold for longer. But see, in this Bible, they don't have some truth. They God, they devil, they Bible, which is they devil, they speak of in here that they want to call God. If you look at Matthew 10:28, it tells you, and fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. This is what you will find in Matthew 10:28. And what their devil was saying, this is a message to his disciples, telling them like, yo, don't okay, we could take them out physically, but they come back through their spirit and soul again. And then they may come back stronger through spirituality. So what happens is they need to fear us that can take their soul and their body. And that's true, because you're no longer here now. It's a wrap for you. You can't move on. You can't break generational curses. And it says in hell. And that's another thing. What people don't understand is we're in hell. This is hell we're living in. The heaven and hell. Heaven, they used to tell you hell was hot. Oh, you go to hell, it's hot. No, hell is cold. That's why they were turning this planet to that type of weather. It was becoming a cold climate type weather. That's what they're from. That's what they're used to. Cold climates. But being here it was hell. They cannot survive. These people, and that was becoming their heaven. But truly heaven is a hot planet. Warm, kind, like it was before they came and took over and capped it with their physical earth and spirituality. That's why they can't take hot climates. That's why they have to cry, oh, climate change, all these things. It's not about climate change. They can't take the heat, earth, heaven. That's what it is. That's why we was out there slaving in hot weather, doing everything. Hot weather never really bothered us like that. It's always been here. Temperatures, you see Africa, all of them countries like that. Extreme heats, even way out on the West Coast, extreme heats. I told you what West Coast is really connected to in my last video, was really in the backyard. But all of that weather like that, they really can't take that stuff. That's heaven. Hell ain't nowhere hot. Hell was cold, what this world was turning into, what we've been living in. That's what it is. You gotta understand, they invert everything. They turn it backwards. They tell you hell hot, and they never really said nothing about heaven. I just broke it down to you. No, hell is cold, heaven is hot. So now when you see the planet coming back to the warm weather, they bugging about the sun, because heaven is here again. We back here with heaven on earth, because spirituality is coming back and capping over their physical being. And that's why they don't like you to glitch the matrix. That's why they don't like you to rise up in your kundalini, your third eye, and start seeing things righteously, because you can still have third eye and be a Luciferian and do some things that ain't correct. So it's kind of, it's going both ways. And you got to always remember too, John 10:34-36 tells you, don't you know that ye are gods? Go read that. John chapter 10, 34-36, man. It's been there all along. The story's been there all along. That's what they didn't want you to know. But they capped our spirituality. And I'm definitely not no Bible quoter, but I'm directed to what I needed to be directed to. Things pop up when they pop up. If I'm in the middle of researching and just thinking about something, or just directed, man. And this is what this is about, man. We're spiritual beings that are now coming back to take our planet under the tutelage, the guidance of divine feminine energy, which is the original energy which created man. Man didn't create one man. One man, WOMBMAN, one man, original melanated one man, created man. Man didn't create one man. And that's another lie, another thing they inverted in reverse. And so that's what that is, man. I'm gonna leave it at that. This video is already 24 minutes. I know how your attention span is, but I just wanted to bring another piece to the puzzle compared with my last video, so you can kind of put that together. Because right now, divine feminine energy, divine nine, tell you about, they applying pressure right now, man. So just stay focused, stay cool, stay away from the Jim Jones Kool-Aid. Things like that, you'll be all right. But understand too, if you a melanated woman, you ain't been doing right, and you keep wanting to uphold their system, their physical world, to cap and this is my last warning, divine feminine energy, you will go down with them. Black woman, it don't matter who you is. If you want to keep and uphold this garbage, which is already collapsing and falling apart, to try to cap the physical over the spiritual, you will go down with them, because it's no stopping it. That's what you have to understand. There is no stopping it. So get your mind right and make your decision which direction you want to go in. You want to go down with them cats that could care less anyway, because like I said, it's always, you always have to master and subordinate. Divine feminine energy is back here to be the master. So that means somebody got to be the subordinate, and it's them. And they don't want that. So that's where we at, y'all. So with that, I want to say peace. I hope you found this informative. And yo, go ahead and add a piece to your puzzle, man. Do your little research. Understand how I just broke a couple of them scriptures down, man. You know, they got to find a way to get to that soul, man. And that's what gets them. So they got to do that. And that's what the Jim Jones Kool-Aid is about. Trying to get that soul, take that soul from you, man. Because that was the direction. That was their mandate from their depth. Told them, we got to get their body and the soul. Peace, y'all. All right? Stay up. Stay focused. This is your guy, Barry Israel I Knew. Peace.